Christina Guerrero. So this weekend, experts from around the world are gathering at a conference in New York City to discuss how we handled the pandemic. Among the topics is all of that hand washing and disinfecting overrated? Some surprising answers and how to keep yourself safe against COVID moving forward. That is our featured story at the top of the list.
There was a lot of heavy-duty hand washing and deep cleaning as COVID swept around the world. New York City shut down its subway system, something it hadn't done in its 116-year history. Seats, walls, and handrails were sprayed with disinfectant every night.
What a waste of resources, of scarce funds that public transport systems don't have, doing absolutely nothing. It was crazy.
We spoke with Emmanuel Goldman, a microbiologist at Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School, to learn why he believes it's highly unlikely you'll get COVID from touching surfaces. First, let's look at why he researched COVID on surfaces.
My mother-in-law, who lives with us, was really pressing me, disinfect the groceries, disinfect the mail. And that actually is what triggered me to ask the question, what is the scientific basis for this? Because she was getting on my nerves.
So he sorted through studies, and he says he was shocked by what he found.
The scientific basis for these recommendations was very flimsy.
And he found it stemmed from virus survival experiments in laboratories.
The experiments that this was based on started out by putting humongous amounts of virus on the surface, much, much more than you would ever find in real life.
Goldman doesn't believe it's an accurate method.
The kind of RNA they found was usually in a degraded condition, meaning that it was not live virus, like finding the corpse of the virus.
His research shows it's almost impossible to catch COVID by touching surfaces.
It's a matter of timing. If the surface that's contaminated that you touch, if it's still wet with the virus in it, there is a possibility that you could transmit it.
But he says the likelihood of that happening is really small. According to the Centers for Disease Control, your chance of getting COVID from a surface is 1 in 10,000.
I think it's actually even more like 1 in a million myself.
He says you would have to touch the wet virus, then immediately touch your mouth, nose, or eyes.
The fingers are not good vehicles for transporting the virus. There's about a 15% transmission rate of virus on fingers. And there's also some evidence that the skin kills the virus.
He says it's smart, though, to practice common sense hygiene.
Hand washing is still a good idea, not to protect against COVID-19, but to protect against many other things.
While it appears hand washing doesn't protect you very well from airborne illnesses like the cold or flu, he says it does work against gastrointestinal viruses such as the norovirus and bacteria, which causes food poisoning. And when it comes to COVID,
if you're a vulnerable person, or if you're particularly worried, or if there's a big outbreak, go back to the masks.
keeping yourself safe from COVID is at the top of the list.